Oma Jema Shrima Vamakali. About a year and a half ago, I made a video, Kundalini and Diet, and updating my journey with diet and Kundalini. And it's time for another. So the last time I shared, I talked about breaking down all the conditioning barriers and moving to a more intuitive state of nourishment and being free of any conditioning around food. 3 meals a day, protein, carbohydrates, vitamins, minerals, animal products, not animal products, vegan, not vegan, raw food, cooked food, whatever. So just really relaxing into intuitive guidance as to how to best nourish the body and the spirit, which are one. And gradually that led to a lot of healing at all levels. Just the breaking of the conditioning in itself is very healing. So I was really just guided about, I would drive by a supermarket and think, avocado. And after a while, I knew the difference between my conditioned intuition and kind of spirit guidance as to what was being called for. And some days would go by and I would just be on liquids, and then other times I would have grapes, and other times I would have soup, and other times I would be guided to go out for Mexican once in a while, or Japanese. So it was really this freedom from the control and the dogma and the shouldn'ts around food. And even the best systems like Ayurveda or Chinese medicine or raw food or naturopathy are still systems. They're helpful and useful and do a lot of good, but in the end it's still a system, and better still is your own intuition. So that's been going on for a while now, and that's led to more and more states of harmony and presence in general. Once you start applying this intuitive living to food, it really expands into most other things in your life. And also the idea of fasting, not fasting, you see. Before I was fasting to do all the things that you hope to do when you're fasting, become more aware of subtle energies, go deeper into your spiritual practice, rely less on physical food, clearing the body more, detox, open the channels, gain flexibility, gain energy, gain healing. And then it was more like a fasted lifestyle rather than a fast, because in reality I wasn't eating very much. So to most people it would probably look like a fast. But for me, it wasn't fasting or not fasting. It was still this intuitive nourishment. And it wasn't so important whether it was coconut water or teas or whatever I was consuming. It was, the whole thing was de-emphasized, including the dichotomy of fast, not fast. How many days are you fasting? This kind of thing. That was a very hard one for me to break, actually, because you always see, in the past, I always set a goal for my fasts in terms of days and substances, and to really leave that aside for a time and not get caught up on time. So all this freeing of conditioning, even the best, fruitarian, raw food, vegan conditioning, was really liberating. And my spiritual practice and my health both took significant progress. So they're so aligned, the food journey with the spiritual journey. It's like your journey with matter and spirit as food and body, so intertwined. And so healing in the first chakra as well, grounding and earth element. So now, after some time with that, I guess it's been about 1.5 years, I'm nourished by many other things besides food. And the most important nourishment is love. And not love, external love, but the love that you are. So that's the prime source of nourishment. Many religious traditions talk about that. And living on the Word of God. Man does not live by bread alone. So it's one thing reading these things and even believing them. It's another thing to actually live them. So cognition and conception only take you so far. The body has to be able to live it without imposing strict conditions, austerity, new conditions and constrictions upon the body. So just trusting that the body and the spirit are guiding you towards lighter states of expression. And that's what's happened. About 1 year after the last video was made, I started receiving transmissions from the Elohim, which are, you can say, like angelic beings. So that was a break in conditioning as well. I had never really felt myself aligned with all that, but that's what was coming through. And they shared with me the changes that are ongoing in this body and on the earth with many people, about the move from human being to human luminous, to a more light-filled existence, a less dense expression within matter and space-time. They shared that these changes are happening quite substantially throughout humanity. It's an evolutionary leap, is how they describe it. And I'm sure many people watching this video will relate. So for me, I'm just relaxing into that guidance from, my body, from spirit, from guides, that keep leading me towards this lighter, in all respects, expression. And that's where things stand now. Om.